What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the video. We got here the top 25 of college football. Anyway, uh, we got here my predictions. Top 25. So let's see how it holds up throughout the year. Boom! Here we go. UNC. Got that moving up, maybe inside the teens, mid to low teens. The Tar Heels. Moving on, we got the Oregon State Beavers. The Beavers had a good year, 10-3 last year, beat Florida in the bowl game by 27. I got the Beavers probably staying put there. Probably maybe in the 20s, 22, 23. Baylor got them falling out of the rankings as well as Texas Tech. Both of those teams mid-city last year. I don't know how we're ranking these type of teams here. High up in the rankings. Moving on, we got Washington. I got Washington as one of my two sleeper teams to make the top four, make the playoffs. They got Penix. Penix is a serious Heisman contender. But in reality, they probably won't. But if they do, that'd be awesome. But got them as a sleeper team. They might. Penix is a great quarterback. He's top 3 in the college football world right now with Drake May and Caleb Williams. So I'll have them in the top 10 at least by the end of the year. Next up, we have Wisconsin. They've just brought in Luke Fickell as their brand new head coach. I got the Badgers. Braylon Allen, a great back there over there in Madison, Wisconsin. I got them. They're definitely going to make a playoff push. Or not, oh my goodness. They're going to make a push for the Big Ten. What I meant to say. In their division. I don't know what the divisions are like. I'm not a huge watcher, and I'm not an avid watcher. I actually really dislike every team in the Big Ten except for Michigan. I've always had a soft spot for Michigan, but it's maybe it's just because I hate Ohio State so much. But moving on, we got Texas A&M and Florida. Both of those teams will be out of the rankings by week 3. Florida's going to get throttled by Utah in their first game. And I bet TAMU probably loses to Texas State or North Texas in week 2, just like they lost to Happy State last year. Both of those teams overrated every year, fall out of the rankings, and lose to their rivals by 25 every season. Next up, we got TCU, the Frogs. I do not expect them to be ranked past week 6. Duggan's gone, Tomlinson's gone, and so is Quentin Johnson. Not much hope for the Frogs after a disappointing finish to 2023. Or 2022, my bad. Losing in week number... Or not in the national championship by 58 points. Next up, we got Ole Miss. I have them losing 2 games, maybe 3. That LSU game could go either way between Ole Miss and LSU, but I got them losing to Georgia and Alabama. 2 clear losses there. Utah, I got them throttling Florida in the first game. That'll boost them up in the rankings a lot. A lot. Probably top 10, unless every other top team wins in week 1. But Utah, I expect them to have a great year this year. They had a great year last year. They beat USC twice. A great year for Utah. They had one bad loss to the Gators, but it was in the swamp. It was a last-second throw by Rising. I love Rising, dude. He may have been there for 20 years, but he's still a great quarterback. He just makes a couple poor decisions. His decision making is just a little bit iffy, but I got Utah having a good year. Next up, we got FSU. Gotta play LSU this year. It's going to be a rough year for FSU fans. They're expecting a lot from Jordan Travis. He's going to have a disappointing season. The standards they're holding him to, he's going to have a disappointing season. The standard I'm holding him to, I think he'll have an average season. But they expect him to be a big Heisman over there at FSU. So, yeah. It'll be a underwhelming season for the Seminoles. Next up, we have Oregon. Oregon's always overrated, always have, always will be. Dan Lanning. Should have stayed at Georgia. Probably going to get fired in the next couple years. I always like you. I really do like Dan Lanning, but I don't know. Maybe I'm being harsh. They lost by 46 to Georgia last year, so maybe I'm just being harsh. Was at that game too. I mean, Oregon fans are really nice. They're nice people, but I don't know. We'll see. I got them staying in the mid-teens, mid to high teens, or mid to low teens. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm saying, but Tennessee, I got them beating Georgia this year. Hopefully I'm wrong about that, but I got them beating my dogs at Neyland. 95% sure I'm going to that game. I'm also going to Georgia Auburn. This will be my first 2 away games since the Kentucky games when I was about 7-8 years ago. I heard Georgia play Kentucky. I haven't been to an away game since. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Never been in. I've seen Neyland, never been, but drove past it. Next up, we have Oklahoma. Overrated, always will be. Will fall out of the rankings in no time. Give them 3 weeks, they'll be gone. Next up is Penn State. I got Penn State as another sleeper playoff team. I have them with a shot at beating Ohio State this year, actually. It is away for them. No Happy Valley whiteout, but I got them making a serious. They had the potential to make a serious playoff push. James Franklin was a good coach. Always good, you know. But next up we have Notre Dame. Overrated, always will be. Same boat as Florida State. Always judged based on their past. Not the year before. Years before when they had Brian Kelly. Their quarterback just transferred out. Their coach is mid. I personally think they should be banned from the rankings until they join a conference. The only teams that I think should legitimately be allowed to do no conference is Air Force and Army and Navy. But Navy is in a conference, so is Air Force. The only one who isn't is the Black Knights of Army. Anyways, moving on, we got Clemson. Always overrated, always will be. Dabo still thinks it's 2016. Finally got Oogie out, but Klubnik's going to be mid. Oogie was mid. Everyone on that team is mid-city for Clemson. Next up, we have USC. I have USC making the playoffs, sitting at number 1, actually. I got them at number 1 at the end of the year. It's just preseason. But I do have them at 1. At the end of the year. Michigan, I have them missing the playoffs, first one out at number 5. I do have them finally losing. Actually, no, Michigan's going to make the playoffs. Got them beating Ohio State again. It's at the big house. It's going to be big. It's going to be loud. Next up is Texas. Y'all ain't back. Give them 4 weeks. They're out of the rankings. LSU, same goes. Give them 5 weeks. They'll be down out of the top 10. Overrated, always will be. And then you got your top 3. Sitting at 3, the back-to-back, undefeated, 15-0, won by 58 in the national championship, Georgia Bulldogs. Sitting at number 3, lower than an Alabama team who barely squeaked out a win over Texas, and an Ohio State team who Georgia beat with an uncertain quarterback situation at both of those teams. Georgia's quarterback situation is set in stone. Beck's the day one starter. Bet $1,000 he starts game one. I don't know why the Dogs aren't number one. I really don't. Like, this is unbelievable. I mean, like, this is the same thing they did last year, bro. The national champion should always be ranked number one. Okay? They would do it if it were Ohio State. They would do it if it were Alabama. They would even do it if it were Clemson or Notre Dame. Alright? All these other teams, ESPN has such a soft spot for Ohio State and Alabama. It's crazy. I do have Georgia losing to Tennessee. I have Alabama beating them. I have Alabama going undefeated through the regular season. The only game that I could possibly see them lose to is LSU. That probably won't happen. They definitely ain't losing to Texas. Horns down all day. When Texas and Oklahoma get to the SEC, we will not see them in these rankings ever. And Ohio State, I got them losing to Michigan and missing the college football playoffs. The only reason they made it last year, thanks to Utah for beating USC. Goodness me. Anyways, that'll be it for this top 25. My top 3 is Georgia at 1. Preseason top 3. Georgia at 1. Michigan at 2. Bama at 3. Thank y'all. Have a great day. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great anything. And that is my opinion. Don't come for me. Have a good one. See ya.